Thank you. I don't think I'll be able to navigate it the way you young people do it. I'm so proud of you young people of today. 20s, young 20s, 25. You do multitask. You've got your own hustles. You've got your own businesses, and you're doing masters. You're doing internship. You're DJing at night. I've got a daughter who's 23. She's a YouTuber. She's on Radio 254 with 2 shows. My son is doing other things. I don't know how you people do it, because I couldn't do it. So I really am very proud of you. I see Mamadou has put on his camera, so has Richard. The rest of you, I'm in Nairobi, Kenya, and I put on my calendar, and I'm 65 and I'm here. You're very young. Don't worry about how you look on a Sunday. Just put on your cameras. Let me engage with you. Let me hear what young people are dealing with in Ghana. I've never been to your beautiful country. I've been saying I'm coming. Now I really would want to come. I've had 1 or 2 clients from Ghana, and I would really love to come and see the
Mary, to clarify, we have a few people from other. We have Kenyans, we have Rwandans, we have Zimbabweans, we have Gambians, Nigerians. So we are from all over Africa. So it's
fantastic.
Young people
so could
from
you,
Africa.
Yes. Now, for me, I get energy from other people. So I would love it if you'd please engage me on the chat. Could you just put on the chat, how are you feeling and where are you speaking from? Where are you switched on today from? Just say, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling dejected, I don't have a job, or I'm feeling worried, my father wants me to get a job and I can't find one. Whatever it is, tell me one word of how you're feeling, because I'm also an emotional intelligence coach. And I like to hear how people are feeling, where people are also talking from, and that will help me engage with you. So, Richard, yes, hi, and where are you speaking from? Give me your city or country. You're super tired, but you're joining in from Ghana. That's Felicia. Okay, Ghana, Ashesi. Okay, that's a university, fantastic, and that's a place as well. Come on, guys, give me some energy. I'll be as good as the energy you give me. I see Millicent Bonsu has put on your video. Thank you. I can see your camera. What's happening to Noah Dasi, Patrick, Emmanuel, Francis Ado, Richard, Corinne? You don't have to. You're my guest. You're watching. She's a CEO of a company called Generation Kenya, deals with young people, dynamic lady, and maybe she may want to say something towards the end. But she says she's refreshed and she's speaking from Nairobi. Thank you, Corinne. But everybody else, Margaret Ado, Nature Koto, Evans, E.W. Derry. Where are your cameras? I want to see your beautiful young faces. Delice. Richard is feeling excited from Ghana. Thank you. Margaret, relax, refresh from Accra, Ghana. Wonderful. But I don't see your cameras. Richard is relaxing in a chair. That's what I like to see. Be relaxed. Don't worry. Your background is part of who you are. Feeling great, Nacha. Yeah, thank you, Ghana. Excited from Ghana, Kelvin. Okay, let's do one thing so that we're all together. Can we just take a breath? There's something I call as an emotional coach. We're always so busy doing. We're doing, running here, doing that, going here, activities, adventure. But we're also human beings. And one of the things we call is being. Just being, breathing, reflecting, taking just a slow pace in yourself, in your life. So if you would like to breathe or just stretch, just be it present. Close all those tabs. I usually have 35 tabs on my computer. Just close the tab, close the door, and just be here present for the next 2 hours or so that we'll be together. So let's breathe together. Let's breathe in. Hold out. Let's breathe again. Hold it out. And the last one, let's breathe in together. Out. And you can stretch. You can do whatever you want to do, swivel your neck and just be present. And you can see, yes, Nacha, I can see you stretching out. There's something about breathing. Thank you, Millicent. And just being present that makes you kind of feel a little bit more refreshed, a little bit more present. And just make sure your feet are touching the ground and relax. And let's chat. Now, I watched the video, Felicia, and that was done on how Ahaspora started. And I was really impressed with what you have put together.
Thank you.
And I know that you'd like me to talk about career development, maybe perhaps how do you develop a plan for successful career growth and advancement. And I will talk on a couple of things, but I really do love interactions. And I see I wasn't able to convince everybody to put on their camera, but Richard and Mamadou and Millicent and you are giving me encouragement that there's a face, because sometimes you feel you're talking to a wall and it's very difficult. You can't get feedback and the faces. But I see Delisa has also, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, has also put on a camera. So that's really good. Thank you, guys. You had also sent me the key concerns that your young people have. So I'll be referring to this because I see this as engagement. I think particularly with younger people, you don't want to come and listen to a boring, long, what I think. I really want to engage with you on some of the things that I've seen working. And perhaps what I would like to define and ask you to think for yourself is, are you thinking about career growth or are you thinking about career development? So maybe put in the chat for me, how many of you are thinking about career growth? And I'll try and explain what career growth is and what career development is, and that will help me guide me. Career growth involves moving to a higher position, which is what Felicia was talking about. Many of you want to advance, you want to grow into another next level. And it's got a quantitative thing. I want to go from this position to that position, from this money to that money. I want to move up this corporate ladder. So that's one of it. And it involves moving higher. That's the second thing. The third thing is it focuses on a set goal. I want to be from, I started my career in Exxon. I started out as an economics planning analyst. And first you were trainee, then you were analyst 3, then you were analyst 2, then you were analyst 1, and then you became supply analyst coordinator, and then manager. So there was a very set path. So it really focuses on a set goal of exactly the position that you want, and it's mainly strategic. So that's what career growth is. And the strategy for that will be different, as opposed to career development, which is a lifelong process. And career development involves an improvement in your skill and your talent. So I need to get this certification because it will help me grow. For example, I have gone for emotional intelligence certification. Then I went for coaching index certification. Next week or the week after, I'll be going for a team coaching certification on how to build trust with teams, because that certification is part of my growth and it makes me more attractive on the options I have. It's also qualitative in a sense that it's improving your skill set to become an expert. Now, one of the things I would advise you early is really start from an early bit, building yourself as an expert. And I think I made a mistake, and maybe not the way life turned out, but I didn't really set out to be an expert. I kept on just doing the jobs I was given by the organization. But then that was a long time ago in the 80s. You weren't even born, many, almost all of you. And therefore, we just worked to please and you were promoted. I didn't have a kind of a career development goal path. I was just promoted, then I work better. I'm sent to work in London, I come back, I'm promoted to this. So I didn't develop expertise. And what I see more and more, particularly today, is it's important to build your expertise in something. What do you enjoy and what can you be an expert in? There's a book called 10,000 Hours. I'm trying to remember who wrote it, but it says it takes about 10 years. 10,000 hours translates to about 10 years. But you can begin, particularly in a number of the skills that you can get. You don't need to do 10 years. You can actually develop your expertise in something that you generally do, whether it's websites, creating websites, whether it's in e-commerce or it's in a particular thing, engineering. Just go into a very specific niche area and create yourself and make yourself into an expert, because people are looking for expertise, and that is something that you can hang. Even as you develop other things and leadership, hanging yourself on a peg and then you keep on adding your expertise is really quite important and can be a door opener for you. And I think that in a sense, I wish I had known early in my career to develop an expertise because I grew more of a general management, though I started in planning and economics and corporate reporting. The other thing, so it's qualitative. Career development is qualitative in that sense. Then career development focuses more on how to achieve the goals that you have. I want to be in this industry. I want to be a manager. I want to be an engineer in this sector. I want to go into academia. I want to go into the nonprofit. So it really, and in that way, it's more transformational because you've got a career path working it for you. So now that I've talked about the difference between career growth, which is strategic, which involves moving to a higher position, which is quantitative, which is focuses on a set goal as opposed to career development. I wonder if you would put in the chat, where are you at this stage? Are you more looking for career growth or are you looking for career development? And I see Richard, career development, thank you. That's Richard Baiko, but Richard Ekuma for you is career growth. Felicia is career growth. Kelvin is career, Margaret is career growth. Felicia is career development. Kelvin is career development. Millicent is career development. Mahdi is also career development. So majority is career development, but some of you into terms of career growth, which is, it's good to know. And then to say, what is it that I need? So if it's career development, I want you to start thinking of what is it that you're doing to improve your skill set, your overall skill set and talent. Just think to yourself, what have I done lately to do this? And can I be able to quantify it and get some certification, which maybe I can even make sure it's in their claim so that that certification proves I have done this skill. But before you do that, it's kind of important to know what you want, isn't it? Because we always say, when I'm teaching, when I do a leadership teaching for women, I always say, if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there. But if you know, I want to go to for a beach holiday, then you can say, okay, which beach holiday? Haiti, Mombasa, Accra. There are many beaches, Cape Town. Which beach do you want? And once you decide, oh, it's this particular beach, you can have a plan. Oh, I need to take an aeroplane. I need to buy a ticket. I need to get a visa. So it's important to know what is your goal? What do you want? And I know, because even for me, at every transition of my life, it's sometimes you're not clear what is your goal, what you want. And yet it's very important that we actually define what we want. And that becomes one of the most difficult things. What do I really want? Or am I just going to take any job? I just want a job. Do many of you know exactly what you want? Because that's actually fundamental in everything. And it does take some reflection, which of course, many of us don't want to sit down and do a reflection. It's much easier just to go and get a job. But we say, if you're getting a job is just, I wish I could find to show you. There's a little TikTok that I saw that was very interesting. A job is just, it's a jobo. We call it in Kenya jobo. It's just something that gives you money. There's no interest. You can get out and get in. It doesn't matter to you. While a profession is something that you're genuinely interested in, a career is something that is a profession. It matters to you. You're interested in it. You get purpose and satisfaction from you. While the very end one is when you have a vocation. A vocation is something that, you know what, this is what I was born to do. This is what I enjoy. And I think at this stage of my career, I'm actually in a vocation. I love to develop people, particularly women, but all people. I love to help them meet their goals and their plans so that they can strategize and be able to financially make an impact and get personal satisfaction, whether it's personally or professionally. I simply love it. But I was in the oil industry for a very long time. I think 25 years I was in the oil industry. It was a kind of a career because I was doing planning, I was doing economics, and I went into leadership, management. But really, at the end of the day, today, I don't even like to hear about oil. And I even joined UN and became the opposite of oil. We were now protecting the environment, the ozone layer. We were coming up with clean vehicles, setting standards, working with oil companies and NGOs to limit the impact of sulfur in the atmosphere, because what it does, to limit the lead in petroleum. I went complete 380 and I enjoyed doing that. But for me, it was just, I think UN was just a job. I was enjoying the dollars. I was getting paid a lot of money in dollars, and I was an expatriate with my blue passport. And in the end, I hated it, actually. I was micromanaged, and I actually realized I'm prejudiced. I must say, if there's any white person here, I forgive you. Please forgive me. But I even found I'm prejudiced. I'm racist because I just did not enjoy the atmosphere. But it was a very good job. And UNEP does very good work. But in the end, I realized this was just a job. And I stopped working late hours. I stopped, one time I'd broken my leg. I was even working till 10 at night. And I realized it's just a job. It's just the dollars that are keeping me there. And when I made a plan to move out, and I didn't know where I was going, but I just knew I had to get out of a toxic environment. Because when the environment is toxic, some of you who are already working, you honestly do not give your best, you lose your confidence. So what I did was just to leave and say, I don't have a job. I'm not sure what my career is anymore, because I was in general management. I went back to doing boards. Yes, somebody's saying the dollars are important. Marty, the dollars are important. And then there's a time when you find, despite the dollars, your health, your well-being is more important. So I ended up, taking my well-being, but very good comment. That's why I stayed for almost 5 years, because the dollars were important. Then I realized it was not good for me. So it's really important for you to try and find out, as you're looking for your goal, the first thing we tell executives and corporates in this training that we do, and I think it applies to everybody, is first to find out, who are you? Who am I? Who am I? What do I enjoy doing? What are my personal goals? Because it must be to some end. What are my personal goals? What are my career goals? I'm an engineer. I'm an academic. This is what I love to do. This is a choice. This is a plan. So, and that is fast. But in the first one of self-analysis is, who am I? Is, what are my strengths? What are my skills? What are my competencies? What are my development areas? As we've now seen. What do I bring on the table? What we call your value proposition. What do you bring on the table? I know now, and it took me several years actually to find out, and it's by listening to people and asking them, what value do I bring to you? And I know now my value proposition is I bring clarity to big ideas. People come to me, we sit, I listen to them, I question a lot, but I also listen. Listening actively is one of our coaching tools and competencies we've been set by International Coaching Federation. We make them feel safe. Then we listen to our clients. We ask thought-provoking questions. We help them find their own solutions. And in the end, I think what I bring to the table is I bring clarity to big ideas. So that's the value. I now know my value. What is your value proposition? I'm innovative, or I'm creative, or I connect people, or I'm very good of bringing complex problems into very simple words for marketing. What is it that you really believe you're excellent in? Or that I'm very good at people connections, managing stakeholders, or I'm good at talking to customers. What value do you bring? I make people feel safe. So think about yourself, because honestly, it may sound like it's soft talk, but doing self-analysis, making sure you understand what your strengths are. I'm very strong in numbers, analytics. I'm very good at talking to people. Understanding which skills you have and your competencies, and of course, knowing which areas you want to develop, and that value proposition, knowing yourself in terms of my education. This is strong, it's good. I was in the top quartile. And then, of course, starting to get, that is so important, because once you start wrapping it around, you will find, actually, I don't like working indoors, or I don't like working with this type of people, or I don't like working with this type of organization. And that helps you now to be able to determine what is it that you want. Because you can't know what you want until first you know yourself. And you can even ask friends, what things do you feel I admire? Ask your colleagues who know you well. If you've done internships or holiday workings, talk to your parents, people who know you well. What do you think I'm good at? What are my strengths? They say, you know, very good at, somehow you solve problems. You're a problem solver. Oh, okay. You love taking complex ones, solving them. Okay. Then use that information to then be able to say, okay, what do I want? I want to work outdoors. I want to work in a multinational. I want to work in a corporate. I don't like working for people when they do for profit. I think there should have an element of impact. So you now know, I'm talking about non-impact. I like working with children. No, I don't want children. I like working in finance. I like working in equity funds. I like working. So being able then to see what anchors you. There's something we call career anchors. And I'd like you to actually Google it. It's called career anchors. And it was something developed by somebody called Edgar Schein. Edgar, and then the name is Edgar Schein. And let me see if I can put his name. Yeah, put it on the chat. And I'll just explain his philosophy and what Edgar Schein says. And it's very interesting. I've put it, he talks about that all of us have career anchors. And we find them with time, slowly with time. And he says, there is, some of us, our career anchor is a technical or functional competency. Now, those are people, if you're one of them, who likes to identify with a professional discipline. I'm a lawyer. It's very important for you to continue being a lawyer. You don't want people to move you away from the path of a lawyer. You want to grow your technical competency from lawyer up to senior counsel and so on, and eventually maybe be a judge. Or maybe you're an engineer, civil engineer. You want to build that technical competency up to the point you can be a chief engineer, senior engineer, and so on. So there are people who are very clear. I love that technical competency. That's what I enjoy doing. Please do not promote me to general management. Do not make me in charge of many people, because I really do enjoy that technical competency. And I had actually a lawyer when I worked in ESO many years ago. And she was really very good. And whilst we didn't have a place for a chief head of counsel, because as ExxonMobil, we didn't, in American law, if you're counsel, it gives you a lot more legal responsibility that we didn't want to give. We asked her to also handle our credit work, chasing, apart from doing all the legal work for contracts, for service stations, for structure, and so on. We told her, we'd like you to look after the credit function, and we'll bring you credit people to work under you. And give a little bit more other duties. And we said, are you happy with this? We'll make you senior, you become a leader with your own department, and we'll hire you another lawyer to do your legal work, and you have your legal clerk. And she wasn't too keen, but we told her it's a point of responsibility. You grow in stature, and we'll send you to London for training. And we sent her to London. She stayed for 3 weeks learning, the core things about credit, but she wasn't going to do the work, just supervise. She came back, she didn't last a month, she quit. Why? Because she genuinely loved being a lawyer, and her ambition was to go up to company secretary. So a company approached her bank, and she was feeling very uncomfortable moving outside her technical area of competency. And so she went to work for a bank. So that is one of them. There are 8 of them, so you could write them down and see. So technical and functional competency. So now you understand, that's my career anchor. There are people who really want their career anchor is security and stability. And many of these kind of people, you find them in government or in a very big, wide organization, because for them, what's important is the security and stability. Maybe their background, how they grew up, they had trauma, or the father lost a job, and then a family moved from this area to that area. I never want to go through that in my life. So, and those kind of people will go into government. I don't want to be promoted. I don't want somewhere where they do layoffs. I don't want these high startups that you don't know if they'll succeed or not succeed. For me, income, stability to my parents, I have to educate my brothers and my sisters is very important. So those people, your career anchor is security and stability. And they'll take even, you'll find yourself taking a lower paying job because there's stability, because there's security. So is that your career anchor? I think there are others, and I'm sure there's some here. I'd want you to start telling me where you are. There are others who like pure challenge. If a job is boring, they're out of that job in 2 minutes. They like careers that are challenging. They're told to fix a problem, sort out a problem. And those people are very good. They'll go into a job, into a position, into a career, turn around things, and within 2 years, 3 years, they're looking for the next challenge. They say, I'm finished. Can you please promote me or send me to a new job? So for those of you looking for career growth, maybe you feel for you, it's about challenge. That is what thrills you. That's what gives you that zeal to come to work. And you like solving difficult problems. The pattern is not necessary. It can be any industry. So there are people whose career anchor is pure challenge. And if you start to know yourself, that's what I was saying, know yourself. Who am I? Start to know what's my career anchor so that you go for jobs or positions that are already giving you that career anchor and you don't feel like leaving. Then there are others whose career anchor is entrepreneurial creativity. And people with entrepreneurial creativity anchor, they look for there's a premium for them where innovation is there, and they like competitive, where there's competitiveness and they're developing something. And they tend to really enjoy work that gives them the challenge. They like starting new projects or businesses. They have lots of interest and energy, and will also have multiple interests on creating new businesses. They even start pursuing dreams at very early age. They set up a small consultancy. You have a hustle here. I'm doing a web page. They're always doing many, many things. So really understanding yourself, is that my career anchor? And then you start to know, okay, that's what drives me. Then there are others. Another career anchor is service and dedication to a cause. Now, this is not about the money. It's about, I'm dedicating myself to a worthwhile cause. And it can range from the environment to saving elephants to poverty. I want to work with poor people. I want to work in Kakuma. You find these people even in WFP. I have many of them that I'm actually training. And for them, what's important is that cause. They're motivated by core values. Yeah? It's not the work itself, it's the core value. And they have a very strong desire to make the world a better place. And I think one of the, I invited somebody here today. I think you're smiling, you know yourself, Corinne. So for you, if that is you, it's not, I had a young girl, she came from Imperial College, Canada. Young, well, she's now a mother, and those were the young days when I was in Esson. And she was so brilliant, and I was so happy to hire a lady chemical engineer from Canada, Imperial, very bright. Her parents had been in education, very high in Kenya society. And I was seeing how we're going to promote her here. She worked with me for, he said, 2 years. And she just said, Mary, I cannot work where it's always bottom line, profit, profit, profit. And her hobbies were going to visit prisoners on the weekend, doing this. I mean, literally, her life was about other values. And you know, she left us, she joined the government of Kenya. And they went and set up, they're the ones who set up what we call the Export Promotional Zones, EPZ authority now. And she was very successful. In fact, she worked with my husband when he was minister for trade. And they went all over, the world, selling Kenya, setting up those export processing zones. And then many years later, she joined USAID. She's now with USAID, promoting development for women entrepreneurs. But for her, it was about the core values of the organization. I was seeing her getting up to Exxon president, but she was not interested. So that's another anchor. So I've talked about the technical and functional competency, where for those people, it's all about the technical work, the competency, becoming very proficient in that. I've talked about security and stability as another anchor, number 2. I've talked about number 3 was pure challenge. I've talked about entrepreneurial creativity as another anchor, number 4. And number 5, I've talked about service or dedication to a cause. So I want to talk on 3 more and see if you can find yourself in any of this. The third one I want to talk about is autonomy and independence. There are people who feel the need and want to have control over their work. And they want to be recognized for their achievements. They can't tolerate other people's rules or procedures. They need to do things their own way. And therefore, independent, let's say consulting, contract work is usually a very good fit for these people. And they want to be left alone to do their work and just give instructions when they want to work. If they want to work one day, they don't want to work. And these are people who go into architecture, doctors, there are a mix. There are people who actually set up their own firms and they want that autonomy and independence. They can't ever imagine working in a big organization, listening to somebody else's rules. So is that your anchor? Is that the type of work that you have? Okay. And the other type is the other anchor, the second but last one is lifestyle integration. These are people for whom their lifestyle is really, really important. Their children, their wife, their this. And for them they have a high need to balance work and the rest of their life. They enjoy work, but they realize that work is just one of the many parts. For me, I was not like that. For most of my career, my whole world was work. I worked 14 hours, very dedicated, pushing, ended up having my children really in my life because it was all about career and making it. But it's also because of my upbringing. My father had been a very strict man, was always about work hard, get a job, move. I want you to be independent. But for these people, they really enjoy balancing their life. And to them, work is just one of the many things they do. And I think many of you young people have moved to that area where work is not everything, the way your parents were or your grandparents, where people work until, my father worked every day late, every day of his life, including Saturday. He used to work until 6. Sunday, he would work until lunchtime, every day of his life. 38 years in the railways. In fact, I was born on a train. That's why you can see I'm very energetic. My sister says my brains were rocked a little bit because my mother gave birth to me in a train. My father was station master in a very remote area of Kenya. So my father was just dedicated to his work. That was it. He was a technocrat. But for these people, if you're one of those, you say, no, I want to go surfing. I want to go bungee jumping. Life is not about work. It's just one. These people, you'll find them taking jobs like, for example, teaching is a very good one. Schools close at 3, holidays you take with your children. And these people tell them, can you stay late after work? They say, no, I'm going on holiday with my children. You tell them, may I promote you to move to another town? No, I want to be with my husband or my wife. They don't want to be promoted to London. No, they're very happy because they look at the whole of their life. And there's nothing wrong with that because their anchor is lifestyle integration. They're very clear that I have other things to do, other responsibilities. My life is not everything about work. So you can see how they can clash with somebody who life is all about work. And the very last one, in terms of the career anchors, is general managerial competency. These are people who have a broad overview facilitating role, and they're not a specialist of anything. They enjoy leadership. They enjoy being in leadership. They view specialization as being very limiting. They primarily want to manage and supervise people. They enjoy motivating people. They enjoy training people. They enjoy directing the work of others. They enjoy authority and responsibility. And when you strip these people of control, it becomes a demotivator. They say, I'm not working there. If I'm not in charge, if I'm not directing people, if I'm not the one. And you can see the autonomy people, or even the people of pure technical, they're very, very different. So I wonder if you've been able to identify yourself on the chart and tell me. Margaret Andoa says, I can see myself in 2. Yes, you actually will have 2 or 3 even, but which one predominantly do you lean on to more? Yes, you definitely have a little bit of 2 or 3. You enjoy this and you enjoy this. So the question to ask yourself, and I'll share this slide with Felicia, but please Google it, you have it there. They're called career anchors. They even describe what kind of work should you be looking for. If you enjoy pure challenge, know that if you're given a stiff work where you're just checking procedures, you quit even after 2 days, 1 year, you just say, no, I can't do that. And this is all part of being able to know yourself. Where are you mainly leaning on? So once you've been able to say, who am I? Self-analysis, strengths, skills, competencies. What areas do I need? What's my value proposition? What's my education? What's my experience? What is my career anchor? Then you now come, what do I want? Where do I see myself in 3 years? Managing people? Having turned something around? What choices would I want? Do I want to work for now? No, because now you know yourself. Now you know yourself. You now know what you want to do. And by the way, you will come to this question many times in your life. Over many things, what do I want? If I want to save, how much do I want to save? What do I want to save for? You have to have it in your mind, in your goal, so you can cut all the other expenses, because I want to buy a house, or I want to get married, or I want to have investments. I want to have passive income. So you need to know, what do I want? So it's the same with career. If you know I want to get married, what kind of wife am I looking for? What kind of a husband? Then you start looking for it. So you have to know what you want. And it's a question every time you come back to it. As an emotional intelligence practitioner, as a coach, this question will come every day. And that introspection is important. Felicia, we've been left by many people. It's only you, me, and Mamadou. And I'm only seeing half of Mamadou's head.
Yes,
Mamadou,
they've turned off their cameras. Where is everyone?
That's okay. That's okay. I'm feeling lonely, but that's okay. I don't know. Am I connecting? Are people hearing me? Or is it that I'm talking from the forest?
Yes. Yeah, hearing you very well. You're listening.
Is it making sense? Give me encouragement. Give me a thumbs up. That emoji thumbs up. If it's making sense, Melissa gave me 2 thumbs. Thank you. That makes sense to you. Oh, I've seen many crazy. Thank you, Richard Ekuma. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Nacha. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you. First time Dominique has talked to me. Wonderful. Enoch, I can see Enoch. Thank you. Thank you, guys. No, thank you. I'm glad I'm still there and I'm still making sense, because I tell you, I only talk to 40s and 45s. So you give me these very young, bright people of today who are very sharp, and I really admire you guys. I wondered, will I make sense to them, or will be this old woman? What is she telling us now from Kenya? Okay.
You're making a lot of sense, Mary. I'm taking notes, and I think I'm always almost full pay on. It's really making a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. So we talked about who am I? Very important. Keep doing that retrospection. Find out more and more. In fact, there's one trick I tell my clients sometimes. I say, can you take on your phone, write and send it to at least 6 people and tell them to give you 5 traits about you that really describe you. 5 characteristics or traits about you. And you'll be amazed. I tell them, and then just copy that text and send to many, many people. You'll be amazed. People view you quite accurately and about the same. Oh, you're very strong, you're bold, you're courageous, you're very detailed. And they'll tell you some negative ones also, because you send to people who know you well. Send to family, send to friends, send to people you've worked with, peers, or people you've been in college with, like from this diaspora, college mates. You'll be amazed, people, your strengths, people do see them about the same. And that gives you the confidence. Oh, I'm quite detailed, you're very analytical. So you love numbers. It's important getting that feedback from others as well. Because sometimes we don't see ourselves too clearly. We're very harsh on ourselves, very critical of ourselves. And it's something I tell people, be gentle with yourself, because you're your own first friend. You've got to like yourself and be gentle with yourself and give yourself grace. So try and learn about yourself. Have that retrospection. I have books I've written about myself, what I am. I do a lot of this emotional, you can do emotional intelligence assessment, 360. There are many tools that can really get to know you. What's my personality style? What's my person? You can do this test. Some are free, some you pay a little money. There's a DISC personality to tell you the kind, how you come across, because it's important. Then what do I want? Once you've decided I want to work for a multinational for at least 5 years, gain this expertise, because these are the things I enjoy and I like the work that they're doing in digitization and technology. So if I go there and do 5 good years, I will have become an expert and they're at the leading edge of the work they do. Then you start looking for those kind of companies, a multinational that is leading, that is doing digitization, and this is the area. Or is it a bank, a finance? Because I love numbers, I love analytics, this is what I want to do. So you're now quite clear, you've narrowed the gap of the kind of companies that you want. Oh, me, I like things with a cause. I want to work with women or children. What people do is very important to me. Then you start looking in that area, who are the best? Where do they work? Do you want to work regionally, outside? And you then Google, get the names of the kind of companies you want. What do they look for? Go and look and say, okay, when I look at the entry jobs, these are the jobs, or this is what they have. I want to be in this area. Okay, what are the requirements? Because they write their requirements. They say, we want this competency, you must have a master's, this. So you look and say, do I fulfill most of those? And you don't have to fulfill all. You apply, because most of the time, let me tell you, most companies train their own people well to do the job. They just want somebody with, can you reason out and work? And usually a degree is what convinces them. You have reasoning capability, you have research capability. Most of the time, what companies want is a personality. They want somebody to go to interview and engage with them. By the time you're called to an interview, they have decided you can do the job, you and 20 others. But they want to see, do you have the right fit? Are you the kind of person who copes with others, talks with others? And I tell many people that IQ gets you hired, but EQ gets you promoted. For those who say this career growth, it is emotional intelligence that gets you promoted. And you say in offices, people who are not even, and you say they're discriminatory, but maybe that person gets along with people better than you. That person listens when people talk. That person is loyal. That person is dependable. So those qualities of being able to put yourself out there and be able to talk with people and be likable. Who hires you? All people, you have people who work for you, whether it's at home, your parents, or your workmates, you're doing people part-time work. How do you hire? You hire people you like. They can be the best person, very clever, but you don't hire them if you don't like them. So how do you become likable? Not subservient, but likable. Somebody who's socially able to mix and meet with people and be able to have empathy for others. So for me, I say at your age, when you're starting to climb, understand, and that comes from listening and really being aware and watching. What does my boss like? He likes people who make deadlines. Okay, I'll make sure I work on deadlines. Because it's not about you, it's about the other people. What do my colleagues need in the office? Somebody supportive, somebody who supports them and helps them. Okay, I'll be that person. So the third thing then, who am I? What do I want? Is how do I get there? And how do I get there means having a plan and saying, okay, that plan, I need this experience, 2 years, I need that. Start working at getting it. And I know these days, many jobs say masters. And I think I'm the only person left in Kenya without a master's, but I've stopped feeling guilty about it. I used to have a chip on my shoulder that I don't have a master's, but I see now many jobs, they say a master's. So fine, get your master's. But please, I see so many people trying to do PhDs, and I tell them, unless you want to go to academia, unless you have a plan that actually eventually I want to teach, I want to train, it's not that hot right now at your young age to go for it. What I urge many people to do is get skills. Like I said, I have emotional intelligence certification. I'm now going for the 5 behavior certification. You can even go for digital skills. You can go for website creating skills. Some people go for how to manage human resources, like the HR. So if you're let's say a leader, you're 25, you're starting to go, you're an engineer or something, a technical profession, why don't you go and get how to manage people skills? That is human resources skills. And it's just a certification course. You get it, it takes 3 months or 6 months, because now you're mixing the two. Or go and get arbitration skills course or mediation, because the soft skills now, because of the age we're in of technology, AI, what is definitely now more sort of are the soft skills. How to lead people, how to inspire people, how to manage people, how to negotiate, how to manage stakeholders. You can even go for, communication skills. Go and get a skill that can be certified, and then you're more attractive, because here's my core competencies, but I now have skills in managing people or project management or something else. And those different skills are what will make you a multifaceted type of person who can be put in different project teams, because you not only know your core competency, but you have another 2 skills that took you just certification on them. And now part of these digital skills, like data science, data management, there's small skills. You can go there in data analytics. You get that skill, you'll be far ahead of everybody else, because you now know how to manage data, be able to make presentations that are able to have data analytics in graphical forms. And people say, hey, get that young man, can he do the ones for the boards? Before you know it, you'll be making presentations to the board, because you're the one who really understands data analytics. And those are skills now that are so present, and some of them are being offered free by Google. Some of them are being offered free or very small fee by Coursera. My son is doing some. How to do sales funneling. What's a sales funnel? How do you sell through Facebook and create funnels? And now with ChatGPT, some of them can start writing code. Honestly, ChatGPT is the best thing that happened to me, and I'm 65. All my emails now I do by ChatGPT. Some of my modules I'm doing, I just can't do the code work and all. But I know my young nephew who's 26 and is working with a startup. He's saying he's going there for his website skills and creating. He's using ChatGPT to do some of those code lines. So I think it would be really important for you to now think about getting those other skills. And you'll only know that because you've identified what you want. You've gone to those companies that you've identified are in the line of where you'd want to work, and looked at the job specs that they ask and say, what extra skill will give me a higher markup, and a skill that I enjoy, a skill that you enjoy. And I have a friend who's an architect. Then she's now gone into emotional intelligence. She's a psychometric master, excellent. But she plays in a band and loves her music. She's also a music teacher. She's done grade 8 for the Royal Academy. She teaches piano. Now that is, and this is somebody in her 40s with her 5 children. So that is the freedom that today's world has brought us and has brought you, versus me nowadays. We just had one job, one career, and it was like a ladder, step ladder, how you progress. For those of you looking for career growth, also, let me say this. Don't think the career goal path has to be that step ladder we did. Today is a jungle gym. You've got to think about it like a jungle gym. Please give me a thumbs up if you understand what a jungle gym is. Maybe you don't have children, you're too young to have children, so maybe you don't know what a jungle gym is. Somebody ask me what's a jungle gym if you don't know. If you know, continue. Felicia, what's a jungle gym? Oh, Maddy says, what's a jungle gym? Okay. Maddy, when you go to these children parks,
yeah,
they have these ropes that there are ropes going down and ropes going across. And if you want to get to the top, you can't climb like this. You go across, then you touch that one, then you go this zigzag until you get to the top. That's how you climb that jungle gym. And it's a big thing even in this hiking activities. When you go out, they have those jungle gyms. You can't go like this. You have to go out. It's also rock climbing. Rock climbing, you can't go like that. You step on a rock here, find another one, push your leg there. So today's world, in my day, we were promoted step, but today is a jungle gym. So in effect, I want you to think of your career. You can move into one position and move out of that company, go to another company, same level, but you're gaining different skills. Because ultimately, having that job in your CV helps you more because it's a different type of job. So when you look at your CV, you say, you've not only done sales, but you've had operational experience. So the salary may be the same, but why you're moving is to get the operational experience. Am I making sense? Because you know, yes. Yeah, you know, ultimately when you move somewhere else, they'll say, oh, but you only have sales experience. You don't have operational experience. So you can move laterally like a jungle gym because you want operational experience. Or you can ask in the same company, I want to move to sales department to get experience in sales. So it's a lateral transfer, but you stay there for 2 years or 18 months and you get your sales experience. Now your CV is that much richer because not only have you done factory work or operational work, but you've got sales. So think of your career that you don't have to go upwards. You can actually do it like today we talk about it being like a jungle gym. And once you go laterally, you may skip even 2 steps because the job you'll apply for, you have quite a bit of experience. So you'll jump 2 steps over somebody who says, but we were together, how come you've gone ahead? But it's because you have the right varied experience and people want a variation of skills. Then the other thing on the how do I get there? I've talked to having a plan, having critical learning, and what is experience required. I want to talk about 3 more things. The first one is networking. We have so many networks that we don't use. I'm sure if Felicia asked you right now, all of you, can you write the titles and names of at least 5 important people that you can call and they will recognize your voice and say, hi, Millicent, I'm a bit busy, but I'll call you back. Or you call and they say, hi, Enoch, just 5 people of importance. It could be a bishop, it could be a managing director, it could be an MP, it could be a cabinet minister, it could be anybody, but people who are recognized as senior leaders somewhere. If we asked all of you, write 5 names on your phone, I'm sure you'll be amazed at the networks even you people have as a group. It could be the professor in the university, the dean somewhere, all of you. We don't sometimes realize that we have so many networks ahead of us that we can use. And these networks are very important because it's people who know you, who you can say, I'm looking for this kind of a position. I want to, but most of the time I find, particularly previously, I don't know if it's now with Kenyan young people, but people would say, oh, I'm looking for a job. I ask them where. They say, any job. I can't help you. I can't help. There's nothing called any job. You have to tell me, I'm interested in media. I really love broadcasting, in particular radio. And I've noticed that these 2 companies, I love the work that they're doing, Kenya, KBC radio and 254 radio, and the kind of work they're doing with the young people is really interesting for me because in university, I did this. So those are the 2 companies. Now I know. I say, in fact, my brother-in-law is the head of that company. Let me call him and see. But if you say any job, or you say just anywhere, or in multinationals, you have to be very specific. We're told when we pray specifically. You want God to give you a husband, say, I want a husband, this height, this length, this whatever. He should be upright, he should be God-fearing. How come? You're told to quote exactly what you want. You want God to give you a table? Say, I want a dining table measuring 6 by 8. It should be rectangular. It should be brown, polished wood, mahogany. Name it. Because if you don't know what you want, you'll be left wandering in the jungle of not knowing. So that's what I was saying. It's important that your networks know exactly what it is that you want. And when people tell me, oh, I'm thinking of working banking. Where in banking? Which bank? There's so many banks. Kenya has 40 banks. I want small, medium-sized investment banks because the work they're doing, there's got more latitude. I don't want to be swallowed in a big bank like the National Bank, which has 600 people. I want a bank where I make things, and I've looked at the market, and these 3-4 banks, they really have internship programs. They train their people, and I've seen this is a kind of bank I want. Now I can help you. I'll ask my friends, do you know anybody in these 4 or 5 banks? So that's why knowing what you want and being very clear also on your skills is important, but you have networks that you don't know. And many of us sometimes don't ask, particularly women. I think men ask. You're very good at asking. Your makeup, God made you in a way where you don't fear being told no. You just do it. But for us as women, sometimes we don't ask. In fact, there's a book called Women Don't Ask. And it says we should ask. Jesus asked us to pray and said, ask the Father, ask. The worst that can happen to you is no. So understanding what networks do I have? What networks do my parents have? Being deliberate. When your parents say, let's go to a wedding, accompany them. You're going to network with very many big people there. If you're told go and volunteer for carding in a golf place, volunteer, go to your association meeting, your professional associations. You're an engineer, go to join. They have caliber for young people who are still students. Join that profession. There's an event by your professional association where there's lawyers, engineers, architects, surveyors. Go and volunteer to be in a committee. If it's church, volunteer. Like you guys mentor young people. That is good because you're expanding your networks. People are seeing you and you're learning how to network and talk to people and be open and say, by the way, I'm very good at this kind of thing, and I've seen you work with this bank. I'd love to volunteer with that bank or be an internship. Learn to ask even if they say no. So networks are so important. And even your peers can network you and you don't know. Your professors can network you and you don't know. So that's really what I think was the crux of my talk. And I don't know if I've been helpful, but I just wanted to say there are 3 things. Who am I? What do I want? And how do I get there? And to get there, the 2 other things I wanted to say after networking is self-promotion. Do not be shy promoting yourself. There's something about us Africans. Well, there's an upbringing that, there's a Kikuyu, there's a Swahili saying that empty debes make the most noise. This world of today, there's something called ethical self-promotion. You have to promote what I'm about. I'm excellent at this. I'm an expert at this. This is where I've excelled. These are my achievements. After all, you write your CV and you say your achievements. How do you self-promote yourself, but ethically and correctly, that the things you say are true? There's Timothy that says all things that are good, that are true, you should speak of them. So how do you self-promote? I wish I could give you a class, maybe one day if you're very nice to me. Most people don't understand the power of LinkedIn. When I take clients through the detail of LinkedIn, you don't even need the WhatsApp to say, do you know somebody who is somewhere? You know them through your networks. Just understanding how LinkedIn, that's why Microsoft bought it in 2016 for $26.2 billion. And for those who use Microsoft 365, companies are milking LinkedIn. But most people know only, it's like this phone. Most of us use our phone 5-10%, but when you're told the tools in here, it's amazing. It's the same with LinkedIn. Those networks and finding the networks from your alumni, from jobs that you've held, people you know, it's amazing. And that's the same platform you can promote yourself as a thought leader in writing articles or things that you enjoy, very short articles or posts. You are connected to magazines of your profession. You see a little article that you love, which is thought-provoking, maybe it's on psychology or subject matter that you're an expert in, you put it on LinkedIn, you query people, you say, this is interesting, this article is very interesting, but I don't quite agree with XYZ. I wonder what some of you think. You tag friends, you tag connections, you tag companies that are mentioned, you create thought leadership, because you need to find your community of fellow professionals that, like you, who think on the same thing. And it's such a beautiful platform, and it's free. Recruiters globally use LinkedIn. I have been approached for boards. I have got work through there. International work I've got through LinkedIn. I have people I help in executive repositioning, doing their CV, and then we do LinkedIn. They call me, I got a job, American company. Believe me, but you have to understand how LinkedIn works. And there are so many YouTube videos about LinkedIn. Even LinkedIn itself has things they show you. There's something called social selling index. You work out, you go into LinkedIn, you check, and it's only you who can find it. When you clicked on LinkedIn, there's a way you do the file path, and you actually see, am I profiling myself rightly? It tells you what score you have out of 25. Am I networking with leaders and the right people? Am I branding myself? It tells you. And then there's a last one. Am I making connection, or am I doing something? 4, and it's out of 100. And it tells you how you're performing out of 100. And then it tells you your networks, the people you're connected with, first connection, how they're showing up. Are they higher than you, better? And then it shows you people in your industry, because maybe you said I'm a lawyer, or you said I'm an engineer, because you have to choose your profession. It tells you people in your profession, how are they doing? So you can see, am I up or down? So for those of you who are right now on your computer, because you can only do it on your computer, can't do it on your phone. How many of you on computer? Just tell me yes, if you're on the computer. Felicia is on computer. Put it on the chat. Let me see how many are you.
I am too.
Okay, somebody else is a computer. Yes. Okay, can you click your LinkedIn? I'm about to finish so we can have question and answer. Click your LinkedIn. Go into your LinkedIn. On another, of course, another tab. And then go to your profile. You click your face, your profile, go to your profile. So across there, it will have, let me do it on mine and I'll show you. I don't show you mine because my number is not very good at the moment. I train many people. Maybe I'll just do it on my number. Can I do it on mine? Because my number is very low. It left high 70s, is now low. I haven't looked at it because I train too many people and I don't post. So let me see. LinkedIn.
Can I show mine?
Yes, you can you share yours. Who is that? Who wants to share theirs?
Richard.
Yeah, Richard, do you have sharing rights?
Yes.
Yes, okay, share yours. Corinne, thank you so much. I saw your message. I love it. Do you want to say anything? Because you work with youth. I'd love you to say something.
Okay, let me see. I'm trying to put my video on just to say, what a pleasure. I mean, what you said, Mary, is exactly what we do. We work a lot with youth, and there are things that you have said that actually resonate, particularly around, we have technical skills, yes. So those skills that get us to have a growth mindset, be patient and persistent, because when you're patient, when you're persistent, you will get to exactly where you need to go. And so that's my encouragement to all. I have been inspired. I need to go back to my LinkedIn to make sure that it's always updated, but I do wish you all so well. Mary, as always, it's a wonderful pleasure. And I pray that all of us, all of you, please soak in what Mary is saying. I mean, she's really great. And I wish you well and God bless you all. Thank you, Mary, for the invite. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. And I want you all to Google Generation Kenya. It's a global program. They're in several countries based in the UK, and they're doing fantastic things with the youth. And Corinne is the CEO of that organization. And it's a real
Kenya.
of Kenya.
Yeah, Generation Kenya. We are in 18 countries. Our most recent one is Ghana. So, and I think we have some Ghanaians here.
Yes,
So yes, very excited about that because it's the second country in Kenya that we are implementing generation. Our focus is really linking youth to employment opportunities.
Yes.
So skilling, and it's just not about skilling technically, it's just also embedding those soft skills that make you succeed on the job from day one. Yeah, so
yes.
Wish you all absolutely well. Thank you so much, Mary.
You're
and
welcome.
Take care. All right.
Okay,
take
bye.
care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay. So now, Kofi, Richard.
Please.
Yes. Do you see at the top the file path where it says linkedin.com/in/KB Richard there? Can you remove everything until you go to .com/ remove everything? I want you guys to write this down. Now there, stop. Put the slash back.
Okay.
Okay, now write sales, remove feed and write sales. SALES, small letters, SALES, then slash, and then slash, and then write SSI, social selling index. Now do enter, push enter. You've got a good, yeah, yours is quite not bad. So this is what, have you ever seen this before, Richard?
No, please, this is my first time.
Okay, now what it says, and all of you who are on LinkedIn right now can do that. Go to profile, and then at the top there, as Richard did, remove everything until it goes to .com/, then write the word sales/SSI. Now what it says, Richard, is that you have scored 54% based on these 4 elements. LinkedIn looked at, are you establishing your personal brand? And if you press that little question mark, just press that question mark, it will tell you what establishing your professional brand is. Okay. Complete your profile with the customer in mind. Become a thought leader by publishing results. So you've scored 7.9 out of 25 marks. So you might say, I want to improve that. Then the next one is finding the right people. Press that, yes. Could you read it for me? Identify better prospects in less time using efficient search and research tools. And there's so many tools, they're beautiful. Now, okay, 14.4, engaging with insight is your second best. You are actually discovering and sharing conversations. So it's good, but you can do better. And where you're very good at, you're almost at the top, you have strengthened your network by finding and establishing trust with decision makers. So the algorithm in LinkedIn understands that there are people who are leaders, 4 out of 5. What kind of leaders are you engaging with them? So it said that is your biggest strength. So well done. Now, if you look at people in your industry, you have said that your industry is IT services and IT consulting. Is that your industry? Is that what you do? I'm into engineering, but I'm more of into entrepreneurship right now as a student. And so most of my business that I do is related with IT and IT consulting. That's why I put that on my LinkedIn. Okay, good. So that's where, and it's important sometimes to check, are you in the right industry? Because some people put the industry of their job. They work for an airline, then they write aviation, but actually you're a lawyer. So when you move and you go to banking as a lawyer, now it becomes that you're still in aviation. So your job should be legal because you're a legal professional. Or, so make sure that when you're thinking about your industry, don't put the one of your employer. Put the one of you yourself. What is it that you do? Because that, so now you can see people in the IT services and IT consulting, they have ranked, they are at 35. So you're doing better than your colleagues in the industry. And don't worry about the word sales professional. It's because on LinkedIn, what they mean to say is that all of us are there to sell something. Either your company selling your services, you're selling your products, or your individual selling your expertise. So we're called sales professional. We're there to sell something. Now, your network, the people you're connected with on a fast, they are at 26 and you are at 54. So you are in the top. If you go back to the top, go to the top. Yeah. You are in the top 5% of your own network.
Okay.
But in the industry, you're in the top 14%. So I ask people, where do you want to be? What is your target? I want to be in the top 5. I want to be in the top 10. I want to be in the top 2. And you have a very good strength in building relationships, but you're not so good in establishing your professional brand and finding the right people. So you might out of this say, let me read up on how do you establish professional brand on LinkedIn. And it also tells you what you need to do.
All right.
Now, could I show you something else? Let me show you something else. Could you go to your profile? Go to your profile. There's a little picture of you somewhere. Here, this picture, Bill, yeah. And I hope that I'll just show you one quick trick that you can also net. Now, you have 1,663 followers and you have 500 connections. So what I want you to do is press where it says 500 plus connections. Press there, press that, yes. Good. Now, is there a company that you've really been wanting to get into, but you didn't know somebody there? You don't know, how can I get into that company? Because I really love what they're doing and I don't know anybody in that company and I would love to know who is connected with that company so I can approach them. Is there any such company you can think of?
Yes.
Okay, where it says current company, press there, that arrow going down, put that company. Now, and before you do anything, do you see when you did this, you had 1,500 results there. So those are your networks that you can use as networks. Now we want to refine them. So put the name of the company, put the name. Okay, press. Now, say, nice tick, show results. So
no results found.
Yes, now, wait. Now, do you see where it says past connections?
Yes,
press that. Now, tick second connections. Now, those are people connected with somebody connected with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, don't remove the first. Okay, there's no.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Go to the connections. It's okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Usually, yeah. But you don't have any, but show results.
All right.
So you had 0 before, now you have 10. So what it's telling you here is that Foyao is a software engineering and you could talk to him through Millicent. Millicent is connected with him.
Okay, Millicent is here too.
Millicent is here too. Okay.
Yes, he's on the call.
And then Will Proyer, he's a second connection, but there's somebody who's connected to him who could introduce you, who is Benjamin.
Benjamin.
And if you go down, now you can ask them, I see you know somebody. And sometimes you can even search by the job. You can say, I want to know the procurement manager. So here at the top, you write procurement, you leave Boeing, and it will show all the people in procurement in Boeing. So does this help you?
It's very helpful.
Go to the bottom. Millicent knows somebody very important. Millicent knows the president and CEO of Boeing Commercial. So
wow. Millicent has first time.
So now you can call Millicent and say, my goodness, Millicent, I see you know 2-3 people there. How can I get to, how well do you know them? And this you can do for any company. Sometimes you'll even get 16 networks. And if you don't get, then you go to third. But most of the time you'll find there's a first connection who knows somebody. And this is just one of the very small tools that technology is here. And you young people know technology. Use it. Use it. Okay? So you can stop sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome. So guys, I have talked for what, 1 hour, 29 minutes. I am very talkative. I had much that I wanted to say. As I finish off and we'll have a Q&A, what I would ask you is, if it's about internships or even volunteering, please start very early. Don't, my cousin who that young nephew I told you, he came back from the US as a software engineering. I got him into Deloitte's as an intern. He kept trying to find interns who were calling different people. He used me, networks, we called everybody. And I managed, he went and interviewed, he passed, but he didn't even stay a year. He then has joined a startup company that are doing back-end software engineering for customers in standalone shops, pharmacies, and so on, retail, the back end, even POS and all that. And he told me, even when he was in the States, in New York, he had to do many, many applications. And he says, the trick is don't ever get tired. He says he must have sent over 200 applications. Don't get tired, but start early. What else did he tell me? Be very patient. Demonstrate a skill that you're good at, which is what I was saying. So really, to me, what I would say is that the soft skills, what you had Corinne say, you've gone to university, you've passed, and they will teach you how they do it. So don't worry about technical skills. You have to worry on how do you show up, how you dress, how you talk, how emotionally intelligent you are, how you network, how you promote, how you negotiate and create those friendships, because people hire people they like. How do you make yourself likable? How do you make yourself loyal? You arrive on time early all the time. You say please, you say thank you. Those soft skills is what gets you ahead, because I like that young chap. He's very respectful. The board says, I was very impressed with him. The technical skills, they will teach you and they'll get you there. But really understanding who you are, what you want, and how to get there is a foundation of everything. And these skills that we don't teach on leadership, on self-awareness, on self-management, those skills are what you should be wanting to learn. Because unfortunately, they're not being taught in schools. They're not being taught in university. You come out with first-class honors, but you can't even write an email. You can't even sit in front of the board and present. So join things like, there's these speaking clubs. I don't know if you have them there. There's one I'm trying to think, Toastmasters. Join those things, join Rotary. Get opportunities to be even volunteering in your association so that you get a point of talking with senior people, older people, making presentation, because the more comfortable you are in your own skin and you know what you're good at, the more you'll show up in a better way for people to see your value. Now, I have talked too much. So let me let you now talk. And please put your phone so I can see your beautiful faces. You've all disappeared, including Patrick, Millicent. Over to you, Felicia. I hope I did you proud.
You should see the conversations we are having on our WhatsApp pages. You've overdone this, and we are even thinking of how to bring you back to specifically teach us LinkedIn hacks. So we'll give you breathing space, and hopefully before the year ends, I think Nature, you're with me, right? We make sure that we bring Mary back to teach us all the hacks. Thank you so, so much. Like, this is mind-blowing. I've learned a lot. And one thing I did immediately was I sent about 8 people very close to me questions to help with self-assessment, because my mentor asked me to do it and I was so scared to go for it. But just when you said it, I was like, this is the sign. This is the sign for me to do it. So quickly, I messaged my father, my mother, my uncles, my close friends, my bosses, that please take time and do this for me. Thank you so, so much. Now it's time for us to ask questions. What do you have on your mind? If you don't have any question, feel free to unmute and say thank you to Mary. Let's show her our appreciation before we end the session. Thank you. So who will start?
I will.
Nice, Richard, go for it.
And put your camera so at least I see who's asking. Oh, good. Thank you, Richard.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Richard.
Hi. It's been a pleasure having you here. I was super excited to join this conversation. I mean, I saw the email late, but I tried my best to join and I've stayed with you all this time. I really enjoyed the session, and especially the mind-blowing parts, which was the LinkedIn hacks. Hopefully you get to get more from you, and really appreciate it. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Who else? Who else?
Hello, Mary. This
Hi.
is Lydia.
Hi, Lydia.
Yeah. Yes, I want to thank you. I joined like less than an hour to time, but I heard what you talked. I got what you talked about, the LinkedIn. I'm really grateful for that information. Thank you very much. God bless you. We hope to get you the next time to like take us through, like,
Yes.
give us more details about how we can use LinkedIn. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
you. Thank you, Linda. Who else? Please, let's all show some love, because if ask questions, but if you don't have questions, please let's show lots of love to Mary.
Ayabil has given me a wonderful, Ayabil has given me a beautiful comment. Thank you, Ayabil. I love you.
Thank you. This is actually the best webinar we've had, and she's not the only person. A lot of people are saying it on our WhatsApp too. Thank you, Aibila. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
I also want to thank Mary for this the session. I came back home tired and a bit late, so I was contemplating. And I think I thank God that I made a decision to join in. I've learned a lot. Actually, I've learned a lot. The theory really helped me. The LinkedIn hack. I've not used my LinkedIn much, but I think I'm making a decision to explore and watch more YouTube videos to learn more about LinkedIn. Yes. And I can listen to you all day. You are just amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. No, I'll be happy to take you through a LinkedIn session at some time. And you remember, under LinkedIn, there are things that the algorithm hits. For example, your title. It's very important, because the headline, what we call the headline title, there's your face and your name. What comes under there is probably one of the most important things. And people leave it blank. And if you leave it blank, it will pick the title on the first job you've shown there. But it's important that you learn how to describe who you are. Something expert. I'm an HR expert. I'm a something specialist. I'm a projects programmer. I'm a something. So that's where you write your title, because the algorithm, when headhunters, who are a third of revenue from LinkedIn comes from headhunters. When headhunters are looking for people, the algorithm is linked to that headline title. So it is, because it says, what do I give on this platform? So for me, I've written coach, mindset coach, emotional intelligence practitioner, this and that. So it's very important that that thing captures the services you provide or the expertise you provide. Don't let it go and catch the title, because some people, you say senior manager or analyst. So what is showing in your headline is analyst. So make it easy for the algorithm, because what drives LinkedIn is the algorithm. So you have to know where the hard hits are. If you've been in projects, under LinkedIn, you can show projects, and you can even tag people who have been in that project. So if you worked on a project, you type in, it loves projects. So it's really important, and ensure that your feed is close. So I'm happy to do that, and I'm glad.
Nice.
And of course, I hope you've all put the jobs, the kind of jobs you're looking for. You've nominated, you've said that I'm actively looking. You put it on LinkedIn. And you don't have to have that green thing around you. You can remove it if you want, and just so that only headhunters know when you're looking for a job.
Any more questions or thank you.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Good evening.
Madi, the dollar man.
Yeah, the dollars are very important, right? It's like, life is running, especially when you graduate with your colleagues, and it's like the next moment they are driving the latest cars, latest phones. And then you are still even wondering what should be my career. It's like you're way behind, right? So I mean, I want to ask, what happens when you feel like you are lagging behind in your career development? It's like you are not really very certain on the career path that you want to take, right? You are. It's like you are still trying to figure yourself out, right? Has it ever been too late? Has there ever been an instance that it's too late for you to now decide what career path you want?
No, I love your question. And honestly, Madi, I think sometimes we're too harsh on ourselves. I mean, I'm telling you, I found my career path and what I like in my 50s. Where are you? Please keep on so I can see you when I'm talking to you, Madi. Honestly, it's never too late. See, I've told you I've got somebody who's an architect, and her husband is an architect. But after 20 years or 18, 15 years, she really loves doing psychometrics, and she has moved that. She's still an architect, and now she'll visit the sites and do work, but she enjoys psychometrics and training. She's building a training academy. In fact, she has now coaches in Ghana. She's trained, and she just set up a partner in Tunisia. She's looking to set one in Nigeria, and I think even in Ghana she's looking. But some of our colleagues from Ghana who are EI, emotional intelligence expert, we have webinars with them, and that's what now has driven her passion. She's in her 40s. Me, I found mine in my 50s. So honestly, it's a journey, and it's never too late. What you should say is, is this place challenging me? Is this place giving me growth? Am I learning new things? So when you feel, I'm not learning anything, I've been doing the same job, it's the same thing, I know it, then now look to move to another place that will give you new skills and new responsibilities, because it will not only grow your leadership, it will grow your skills. So honestly, they say even sometimes a major failure is a learning experience, but it's not a failure. So to me, don't use a yardstick in your head to measure yourself with people. If you do that, there's this song, and I want you guys to Google it and listen to it, because I thought everybody in the world knew it, but I'm very old. We used to do it in school. Go to YouTube, look for that song, and say with lyrics, with lyrics. It says, don't measure yourself with others, because there'll always be people who are greater or lesser than yourselves. And therefore, you'll always have a problem. Have your own path of what do I want to achieve? Where do I want? Because honestly, you measure yourself, this one's driving a car, me, I'm not. But you maybe have more responsibility. Maybe you have more joy in your life than those people. The car gives them trouble. They don't have a car. I had a beautiful Mercedes 5 years ago or 4 years ago. Beautiful sunroof, everything. I was feeling very proud. My son crashed it, he's 27. And then COVID happened after 2 years. Why would I need a car? Do I need a car? Uber takes me everywhere. In Kenya, I mean, Uber is fantastic. So what I was doing is investing in a liability instead of putting my money in something that gives me income. So where you are today, maybe in 10 years, the person with the car will be poorer than you. So I want my money, Madi, I put my money into buying an insurance policy that in 10 years will give me 10 million or 100 million cedis. And it's very cheap now because you're young. I can't get a life insurance policy that's cheap. I can't get even medical cover. So invest in things that you are planning ahead as a man, you know, and you probably start, or I want to save a little bit to buy a plot here, plot of land here, even in places you'll never live, but you know that that plot of land in 3 years will appreciate value. You'll sell it, it will be the money for a deposit for the flat you want to buy. Let the guy with the car continue buying, taking his car. You know why? It's a liability. It's consuming fuel, insurance, oil, people asking for lifts, parties, weekends. Is the one who has to give a lift to everybody. Your money is going into secure things. Don't measure yourself. There's something we call, when I teach this female future, I tell them about mythology, the Greek gods. Greeks have a lot of mythology and gods, and they have a god called Kronos. Mm-hmm. Can anybody tell me, Madi, who do you think Kronos is?
Julius Caesar?
No, Kronos is the father of time, chronology, Kronos, time. And he's depicted as an old man with very long beard, very old. His father time is chronology, Kronos. So the god Kronos is a god of time. And you see, time is unrelenting. This second I'm talking here will never come again. As soon as that second is over, it's eaten by the next second. Yeah. And that minute I'm talking, this minute is now 8:08 in Kenyan time. It will be 8 or 9. That 9 will eat 8, and we'll never see 8 or 8 of 2nd of April 2023 ever again. And then that is eaten by the hour. Then there's a day eaten by another day, a week eaten by a week. So time is unrelenting, fishing, it goes straight ahead. So he was depicted as Father Time even eats his children because he's just unrelenting moving forward. And sometimes in life, we create chronology. You say, when I'm 28, I should be in a job of this level. I should have be getting married. When I'm 34, I should have 2 kids. I should be living in this area. When I'm 40, I should be in a golf club. I should be retiring. You've got this chronology you put in yourself. Nobody put in you. So you create these goals and timelines that nobody asked you to put. And when you don't reach those timelines, you get very frustrated at yourself because you put a timeline of chronology in your head. So when you're 28 and a lady, or 32 and you've not yet found a husband, you start getting desperate and wearing funny clothes and doing funny things, and any man will do, because you are the one who set your own chronology headline in your head. Me, I got my child when I was 38, the second one 42. I'm still alive and I'm happy. And I got married that late. I decided I want to be second wife. It's okay. I'm okay. It's my wife. I'm not. They have got friends with grandchildren who are There's another god that the Greeks had called Kairos. Kairos is depicted as a young man, very oiled. His skin is oiled, he's naked, except for and he had at his heels here, the back of his heels, he has little wings, one wing here, one wing on the other thing. And he has no hair, he's bald, except for a tuft of hair here. There's a bit of fair mzungu hair here. And he was always running. And he's a god of opportunity. And if you wanted an opportunity, you can catch him. When he's running, you catch him by that hair. So I prefer, and I teach people, think about opportunity. This billionaire, a millionaire who created KFC, he became a millionaire at 68. George Bush went flying out of aircraft and doing those skydiving at 81. Biden has become president at 70 what? So it's an opportunity that matters. Make yourself ready for the opportunity. Don't go with chronology. All my friends have cars, I must have cars. Maybe you buy a plane. Maybe you'll do an app and create something and you become the second IT guru, and you'll be buying planes, not cars. So don't set your standards. Listen to the Sirata for peace of mind. There'll always be people who are greater and lesser than yourself. And use the opportunity because you know your plan. Where am I going? What do I want? First, you know who I am. If you buy 10 cars, it's okay. Me, I know that when I'm 25, I'm planning, I'm investing. Because people sometimes look at things that consume, but they don't give you value. And I wasted a lot of time having my credit card, drinking my wine, having weaves up to here. I spent so much money today. I wish I could tell ladies, please, you don't need gel. You don't need those weaves. You don't need all those. Just be simple. Now I wear white all the time. People, I wear the same white shirt, people don't even notice because people don't care. They don't care. And I wasted money. I could be very rich today because I was going for those flashy BMW. Nini, I wish I had somebody to advise me and tell me, create wealth. Because Kikuyus have an expression, which means age, it's youth. So I'm 65 now. I would have had food now to eat because my youth worked for me. So think about creating wealth. That's what is most important. And have simplicity. Don't buy things that are consuming money like cars, houses. Rent until when you need to buy property that brings you rent, not property you stay in. Nice. You know, think of creating passive income so that if COVID comes again, you have income from somewhere. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Finished. Finished lecturing.
Wow.
Thank you very much for the response. I don't think that this is even a career development session. This is more like a motivational speaking session. This is more like a sermon. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Any more questions before we wrap up quickly? But before we wrap up, we've put a feedback form in the chat session. So please look at it and send us your feedback because that's the only way we can keep doing or hosting amazing webinars like these. I've also shared Mary's LinkedIn account. So let's walk the talk. Don't wait and don't procrastinate. Don't let time consume this moment. So quickly go and click and follow Mary. I just followed her. So you should all follow Mary immediately. and let's stay in touch with her, and let's connect with her connections, because she's taught us how to connect. So let's capitalize on Mary's connections and connect with people within her network and beyond. Mary, thank you. Any question before we end it? All right. So thank you, Mary, so much for your time. I feel everyone who joined this session today is blessed, and you weren't here by mistake. This was a turning point for you. This is when I become spiritual, but this was a turning point for us all. Mary, we appreciate your time. I appreciate the time of everyone. We do these webinars every quarter in the year. So we've done this for this quarter. We're going to do them. It was supposed to happen in March, but there was a lot of events happening. That's why it's the first Sunday in March. It usually happens on Sundays because from feedback gathered from previous sessions, alumni who work feel like weekdays are a bit too much because they go home and they are tired. You scholars also go to school, usually use your weeknights to do assignments. So from feedback received, we saw that Sunday evenings usually are the best times. And this time usually works, so those in Kenya and other countries, because of the time zones, can also join in. So please look forward to our next webinar. Latest by next month, you have details on it. And if you have any questions, send your emails to info@ahaspora.com or use our WhatsApp pages to connect with us. Thank you all. And Mary, if you don't have any last word, I'll say good night and have a pleasant evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
We'll work on the webinar and put recording and put it on our YouTube page for everybody to have access to. Thank you.